Here we go, Carol. We're live now, and I've made you the host. So
Thank
feel
you.
free to make me the co-host, and I'll be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, because
Perfect.
I won't be able to see everybody. I won't know if they have a question or not.
I'll look after them. No
All
worries.
right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mute your mic, Christina, please.
Hi.
Hi, want to mute it? Want to mute your mic for us, please?
Okay.
Oh, hey, Sue. How are you? Mute your mic for us. Glad to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. I'm waiting for a few more people to come in, and I'll welcome everyone. Okay. Mary, please. Oh, good. Your mic is muted. Good. I'm glad. Okay, I'm going to wait just a few more minutes and then I see all these wonderful people. It's great. Some I remember from previous classes and some are new. And I have a motto with my classes is that I make new friends, but I keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. So that's how I view my returning friends. A couple of people know that song, huh? Okay, that's, so you're now my new friends. All right, well, let's get started. And this class is on decluttering, or let's address some of your clutter issues. But I have an announcement before I actually begin. And here's the announcement. I am the creative writing teacher, and I teach creative writing classes. And one of the things that we're going to do that's get set up, we want to have you to write about your fathers, or your father, or anyone who was a father-like figure to you or to your children. Please mute your mics, particularly to your children if there's been a coach that's been like a father, or their own grandfather. We want to hear about them, and you can submit anything that you write to Carol, the guide, at getsetup.io. I've put some prompts to help to stimulate or to spark your thoughts so that you could put them in writing. These prompts are to help you write about your father and or someone who is or was like a father. Think about one word that reminds you of your father or the someone who was like a father. What is or was his favorite hobby? Share a funny story about your dynamic dad. What was his favorite sport? What makes your father or the someone who is like a father in your life or in your children's life special? So those are just some prompts, and I will put it in the notes, the class notes. So I encourage you to just take a minute or a little bit more maybe and write about your father as you know him now or as you remember him. And on the 20th, I believe we'll be celebrating fathers. So attend that class too if you can. That's my announcement. Any questions about that announcement and about that whole thing? Okay, we want to celebrate and honor. Oh, Kathleen is back. Hi, Kathleen. Actually, a lot of old friends are back, and so it's good to see them. And we're sharing a subject that we all have issues with probably, and that's decluttering. So this class is Declutter to free space in your home and in your life, also in your mind. It's an informational how-to class. Hopefully you'll develop some new skills and we'll socialize and have fun along the way. People who know my classes, the motto is fun along the way. Okay, I'm your guide, and I'm Carol, and I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm a retired director. I have a master's degree. I'm a retired director of a family literacy center that provided academic support from K to college, and that was during the day, and in the evenings, I was a professor. I enjoy being around people. I enjoy being a part of education that is sharing and learning from anyone in my classroom. There is an exchange. So I'm very happy that you're here today. I expect to learn from you, as well as I hope you learn from me. Get Set Up helps you to learn useful skills from people like you, meaning seniors, so we can do wonderful things, or so you can do wonderful things. We learn from each other. Ideally, we can see you and cameras are on. Request a recording after class. Email help@getsetup.io. If joining by live stream, the best way to participate is to join us and register for class. Please mute all of your mics. Get Set Up is not paid to promote specific products. Know that. Our agenda is a very simple one. What is clutter? Types of clutter, and then a summary. Now, decluttering is quite an extensive topic. So this is what we'll do for today. We do have another class coming up, and people who know my classes know that I add additional content. So we're going to just start with the basics today on clutter and decluttering. Okay. You'll never get organized if you don't have a vision for your life. You've got to know where you're going. What area, and it's never too late to dream a new dream, to have another vision. What area do you want to be clutter-free? What does it look like now? And what do you want it to look like? How do you want it to look after the clutter is gone? So I'm going to just ask some questions about your clutter issues so that we can make sure we address some of them. Anyone want to share the room they want to declutter and what they have in mind for it afterwards? Just raise your hand because there's a lot of you and I can't see you all. Okay, so you all have clutter. Okay, I like it. Hey, Rita, how are you? Got it. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. My middle name is Clutter. I mean, you say what room, whatever room I'm in, you know, that's what has to be decluttered, as you say. I mean, I'm not a hoarder by nature, but I mean, like, oh my God, papers seem to impregnate, you know, they just seem to get more, you know, and I'm just unsure as to what to throw out and whatnot. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's a very good start. And that's something that I'll focus on a little bit in this class, but in upcoming classes. So paper, let's look at some specific ways we can deal with paper. Anyone else want to share? Oh, good. Hi, Kathleen. How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you. My first clutter group was about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was on site at a local seniors organization. I dropped out of that. Let's see, I think I didn't do much of anything for the next couple of years. That severe clutter problems, not to the extent that it's hoarding, but to the extent that I have things piled up to the ceilings in some rooms.
Wow.
Right, I have access to my fire escape, so that's okay. I also attend a very good cluttering group. It's every other Friday from DeRote. Number of people there. The woman who leads it, I think, is a social worker and a professional organizer. So that's helpful. But anything I can get with clutter, I will be grateful for. And also, if anybody else is interested, I'll put the information in the chat room about the other clutter group.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Anyone else
Good.
want to share about their clutter? Okay.
My hand's up.
I can't see everyone. Yes. Deanna? Yes, please. Is it Deanna? Deanna? Yes. Oh, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Your microphone is muted.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Someone else was speaking, but I had my hand up too because I'm concerned about paper clutter.
Okay.
I moved and I had bought containers of paper stuff,
Mhm.
and I just gotta get it uncluttered.
Sure, sure. I
So,
can mention some things about paper clutter now, but I'm going to focus my next class on paper clutter and what can you do with it. This is more of
okay.
a basic. We're going to touch on it, but let's see if anyone else. Marlene, I see your hand.
Yeah, I got a little bit of paper clutter. Mine is more or less investments. I know about the rest of my paperwork. I'm trying to reorganize. I got my craft stash that I'm trying to reorganize, and yeah, and consolidate and boxes. I just moved, so I had to move each box in its appropriate room, and now I'm trying to reorganize the boxes
Wow.
and in all of my rooms. But yeah, my biggest problem right now is investment papers, what to throw out, what to keep.
Sure, that's a real issue. All right, well, let's go on now because it's one of the issues that we will at least talk about basically. We'll go into more details. So you have an idea of what you want to declutter. I think everyone does. And the other part of it is to visualize the room or the area once it's decluttered, how you want to use it. If your study is full of a lot of papers and books and just any number of things, crafts, etc., sit and visualize it, how you want it to be after it's clutter free. That helps a lot. That becomes a motivator, actually. So let's go on. What is clutter? Clutter is anything we don't need, want, or use that takes our time, energy, and space and destroys our serenity. Clutter destroys your peace. Clutter takes away your comfort. Clutter is a problem. So it's anything that destroys your serenity. Consider it clutter. It's material around you. Okay, 5 reasons clutter causes stress. It overloading our senses. It overloads our senses. It prevents relaxation. It tells your brain you need to do work. As you look at all the papers or boxes, you can't relax and watch a TV show or read because your brain is saying, you know, you need to be getting rid of some of those boxes or some of the clutter. So you don't get a chance to rest. So it prevents you from relaxing and your brain stays clicked on that you need to be doing work. It causes frustration when you cannot find things. It's estimated that we spend 1 whole year of our lives looking for things. And it's also very costly because oftentimes we duplicate the things. We go out and buy another or even a triple of it. It leads to guilt and embarrassment. You know, you really may not want people to come in your home because of it. And you also feel very guilty that you're living this way. People don't know it on the outside, but it's a terrible, terrible feeling like you're hiding all the time. Outer order contributes to inner calm. So if you can see this space and how it looks, as opposed to this space, as far as being the calm and having serenity. So that's why that outer order contributes to inner calm. Now, let's get started. Here is what you need. A desire and willingness to change your life by decluttering. You have to make up your mind, this is what I'm going to do. And it doesn't mean that you're going to do it all at one time. You're going to do it in segments. It took a long time for it to get the way it is. So realize that it's going to take not necessarily an equal amount of time, but it's going to take it's going to take a lot of time to get it in order and be patient with yourself. Now, someone has a question, so I want to stop. I believe Kathy had a question. Kathy, I'm here. What's your question? And then I saw Pat afterwards, but let's do Kathy first.
I cannot hear you and my volume is turned all the way up.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Ken, can you work with her on that? Can other people hear me? Okay. Do a thumbs up if you can. Good. Okay. And I think there was something else in the chat. Okay, someone's asking me to share, to share my expertise or qualifications to guide this class. Okay, in addition to having a master's degree in human services, a human service professional connects individuals with services that they need, including cluttering. I'm also 72 years of age, and trust me, I have been a clutterer a great deal of my life. Secondly, I'm a teacher. I would not take on a class that I wasn't prepared for. The other part is I'm in the midst of decluttering. I will be leaving my home and moving to a senior community, and I have a lot of junk. So this is what qualifies me. I'm an avid reader. I read a lot of information, and I watch a number of decluttering shows such as Neat, such as Your House on the Go. So I hope I've met the qualification standards, and I want you to at least allow me to have the presentation, and then you decide if I'm qualified to teach. Okay, is everybody comfortable with that answer? You have some more questions? Okay. Quite frankly, I'll be glad if anybody could rest. Well, let me just tell you too, one of the processes that I have begun, because I know I'm going to be moving, is I've engaged a young man that every week comes to take my trash out. Because it was getting to be a burden to me to try to take it out. I live in a condo, but it's actually kind of a duplex kind of thing. And so there's some travel down the steps, et cetera. And so I've engaged someone. It's a benefit to him. He's going to make money every week. And to me now, when I finish this class and I have another one afterwards, then I'm going to start gathering all my clutter for him to take out tomorrow. Every Monday he will show up and then take out. And I told him it would be at least 10 bags of trash each time. Oh no, I know that you weren't being derogatory or questioning, and that's fine. That's fine. You need to know my qualifications, but I do encourage you to decide after the class. All right, so no, on the contrary, you have a right to ask any question that you like. And I have a right not to answer either. But yeah, that's a good question. I'm glad that you posed it because people could be wondering. Okay, so let's get started. Here's what you need. A desire and willingness to change your life by decluttering. Believe it is possible. Sometimes you can get pretty depressed believing that it's not possible. You can make your vision become true. Remove excess, including removing all things that are clearly trash. And what I mean by that are the store circulars, the store advertisements, the newspapers that you're going to read but haven't had a chance to read. Almost anything you need you can find on the web. Those egg cartons that you've been saving because you're going to make jewelry bins from the cartons out once you paint them, et cetera. Clearly, you have 15 of them now and you haven't done anything about it. So anything that is clearly trash, start with that. Start with your refrigerator. Please mute your mics. Commit to implement clutter-free habits. Slow accumulation of things. In other words, stop buying. Realize your money and your life can pursue greater endeavors than collecting clutter. Look at all the money that you spend, all the time that you spend trying to find a place for it. Please mute your mics, please. And help me here and make sure the mics are muted. Okay, to this class, we're going to look at the different types of clutter and see which one represents your clutter. Okay, the first is clutter without a space. For potential clutter, such as new or unopened items that you will use, store them in labeled, clear plastic containers. And that way it's a visual for you to go back to them. These items could include new books, which you haven't opened or read, particularly if you belong to the Book a Month Club or something similar, and you're actually getting physical books rather than having them on your Kindle. So, these are the kinds of things that you want to store away and you don't want them scattered throughout your house. Seasonal items you brought on sale because they can get lost in the clutter. Items you purchased for gift giving in the near future. It's oftentimes you can't find the items when you need to give the gift. But if you have all those things in one place and not scattered throughout your house, you'll be able to get to them. And remember, we said a year, some people spend, it equals a year looking for things. Okay, please mute your mics. Ken, help me here. Mute the mics, please. It's probably trash clutter, but I have not dealt with it. And that's what I heard from a couple of people. What is considered clutter and what is considered trash? It's important to know the difference so you can establish strict rules for yourself on how long you'll keep an item before tossing it out. Here are just a few items that you might consider as trash. Expired food. Some people still hold on to it. Magazines, newspaper, junk mail, clothes needing repair, old broken glasses, old broken appliances that you're gonna get the cord for the toaster oven, but you just haven't gotten it yet, or all those things that are broken that you're going to have repaired. Considering tossing out newspaper after 3 days. If you haven't read it in 3 days, the news has changed, trust me, and you'll be able to get it on the web. Magazines after a month. I used to love Home and Garden, and when I had 5,200 issues, it just became too much. Styles were changing, trends were changing, and after a while, it became massive clutter. So magazines after a month, or donate them, share, trade with a friend, or just someone maybe in your building or in your area that you know would appreciate it, donate it. Along with items for repair that you have not repaired. Even repair can be, you're going to have these pants hemmed, and it's now been 6 months, and it's no longer winter, but these are winter pants that need to be hemmed before you can wear them. So why put them in your closet? Donate them so someone else could use them, as opposed to you still holding on. So the key is to look at things and decide, what is it that you can live without, or you don't need so many of? And then start with one trash bag at a time. One trash bag at a time. And think about it, if you did one trash bag each day, that's 7 trash bags by the end of the week. And that's a considerable amount of trash that you've been holding on to with the junk mail, the newspapers, the magazines, broken things, and your house will start to see a difference. Choose one area that you're going to continually work on, or one room until it's all done. One bag of trash a day keeps the clutter away. Okay, so we all get I love bargains. Bargain clutter, you never need it or will use. Who can resist a good store sale? Me. I can't resist it. Yard sales, goodie bag, or promotional gift with purchase. You love it used to be at the makeup counter. If you bought an X amount of makeup, you got the bag. You got Clinique's bag and this and that and all those things. Now I can't tell you how many bags over the years I've collected that I'm not going to do anything with. Even if something is free or too good to pass up, why bring it into your home? If you're never going to use it or gift it, then the item wasn't a bargain. Tag sale bargains and promotional swag bags full of products from the mall or business conferences can easily turn into clutter. All right, I'm going to stop at this point and see if there are any questions or comments about this kind of clutter. Yes, Miss Rita. Yes, Rita.
Thank you again. Okay, it's one thing getting rid of the clutter, but how do you stop accumulating it? Like, in other words, it's really a two-stage thing, because
Sure.
I've done that, like I have music and out, but now I still got music. How do you prevent that habit?
Okay, stop buying so much. Stop subscribing to things that come free.
I don't do
That's
that.
it.
I don't do any of that.
Well, then how do you accumulate the clutter?
Right.
From my printer.
I'm sorry.
From my printer. I print out lyrics, I print out music.
Okay. Well, maybe you could stop printing out the lyrics and instead put it on a file on your computer. So it's not a physical thing with papers that kind of pile up. Perhaps you could also do a playlist or your MP3 player. But I would suggest stop printing it out because that's clutter and just put a file on your computer where you have a file for lyrics, a file, because I remember you said you were a singer.
Yep.
In your career. So I can understand that. So I would have a file that says lyrics and maybe, I don't know, blues, lyrics, I don't know, dance music or whatever it is. And
Sounds
then you'll
good.
have them on your computer. So does that help you a little bit?
Yes, thank you. Sounds good.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, I think so too. And this way you'll have it. Yes, Martha, I see your hand. And then after that, Pat. And then Carolyn. Yes, Martha.
This is something. So my granddaughter said that she had been doing some weightlifting and really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
So we have a free and cheap store nearby.
Mhm.
And I found a free weightlifting trophy that I took to her house and gave it to her.
That was nice. That was clever.
So I did it to be funny.
I know.
And they know they can throw it away, but I just wanted to get a laugh out of them. So
Yeah.
but in free and cheap, it's tempting. Some stuff is really cool and some stuff is junk, but I'm trying.
Yeah, and they know it at the checkout. That's why they put all those items that are glitzy, get you to buy more, etc. Okay, I saw Carolyn's hand, and there was another person too. There's actually two Carolyn. Oh, Pat, yes. So let's go with Carolyn.
Okay.
I see Carolyn Pratt, and then Carolyn Pratt, you're not on the camera. So you want to share whatever your comment or question is?
Right. It's Carolyn Platt with an L.
Platt, sorry.
That's okay. No problem. One idea for Martha's daughter or whatever, she could use that trophy as weight.
I like that.
And the other thing is, I have. The reason you can't see me is because I have no place that I can put a camera that doesn't show clutter. However, there's an easy reminder, SOS, stop on stuff.
I like that a lot. Oh, that's right. SOS, stop on stuff.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you could get a background, a Zoom background, so that people don't see your clutter, but they'll just see the background. And
I know, but I have to find a blank place and put up a green whatever, because I took that class.
Okay, but you don't need to. I don't have a green screen. I have one, but I just haven't put it up. So you
okay.
Don't let that be anything that impedes your progress. I do see other hands, but so do if you think about it, and you could have a wonderful background that you like. There's one that I found love. It's like a ballroom. But let me finish with the people that had Carolyn with the green. Forgive me, I can't see. I don't know your last name. Unmute your mic, and then after that, I want Pat to make her comment, please.
Let's see here.
Okay, good.
No. Okay, got it. Okay, well, isn't that odd? Because yesterday my daughter and I have one daughter, one grandson. We live near each other. We've always been somewhat together. And she said to me yesterday, I wish your mother and you and so on. She wasn't blaming me for her clutter business, but she's right. It's almost an inheritance thing with us.
Okay, you faded out. We can't hear you. Carolyn, your mic is, we can't hear you. Okay, I'm sorry. I think all of us have some generational clutter problems.
Her to listen to the recording.
Okay, Carolyn, we can hear you now.
Oh, hey, what did I last say?
You were saying that, it's been inherited. That's,
right. And it still is. And our cars, I think your car is like your house or ours.
Mm-hmm.
And we, it's as I say, I'm okay after all this time, but I worry about the 45-year-old who is still going through this.
Well, maybe you can encourage each other along the way.
Right.
That's the best way to do it, with a buddy system. And if she sees you throwing away things, she may be so inclined to address the clutter issue too.
Yeah.
I encourage you to consider something like that. Okay, Pat, you had a comment?
Yes, I love to read, and I have a Kindle, and I put books on Kindle, but I also like to hold the physical book. So every time a new book comes out from my author, I buy it.
Okay.
But I don't read it right away. So it
Right.
could be a year and sitting there, and then they come out with another new one, and I buy that. So
Exactly.
now I've got books all over the place.
Exactly. Well, here's what I'm going to suggest to you, because I too am an avid reader. And in fact, my mom, I'm going to get rid of some of her collection very soon. But you need to just have bookcases, either built in your room, and that can be expensive, but or even IKEA. IKEA has excellent products, I think, for this circumstance. And they actually, people that can put them together for you at a minimal cost.
Mm-hmm.
Love to read, then I would suggest that you have one room, even your bedroom, with about 3 or 4 bookcases, or even at least 2 bookcases.
Okay.
And then you start putting all books. The key is with decluttering is putting like things together. So you don't have to search through the house to find where is that book. So everything will be on the bookshelf. And you could even have one shelf of a 5 or 6 shelf bookcases just for new books that you're going to read. Please mute your mics, anyone who's not talking. So is that an answer for you? You can put shelves around the top of your room, like a ledge above the doors, etc. You can have shelves put all the way around your room that you can put your books on, particularly those that you've read and you're not going to be using right away. Be willing to donate some of your books. And you can do something, I don't know where you live, you can donate them to the library. You can, if you're in your own home, you could put a neat little book bin outside, your mailbox or something where people can come and get books. So I do understand that, but the key is have bookcases or somewhere specifically that they're stored and not all over the house. Rosalind will be the last person to make a comment because I'd like to go on. Oh, Kathleen, I see you too, but let me get Rosalind.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm outside watering plants. Yeah, my mom, and my father, they didn't believe in clutter. And my mom used to tell me, the state of your house is the state of your mind. And I look now and realize, like, if I'm tired, not feeling well, I keep putting off decluttering. And I think about my mom and say, Roz, there's something going on you need to address, because my mom, even though this was years and years and years ago, she would say that state of the house, the state of your mind. It turned out to be so true.
I agree.
And so my daughter now has said she's gonna order the maid service for me to get it together one good time, so that I can keep up behind it. At first I told her no, but then I finally had to realize with my arthritis and heart condition, I might do need that professional help. So I was listening to you talking about the young man, and everything. And about I forgot the name of the woman with the green screen. I live in a senior apartment, so I had to downsize from my house. And I got a green screen from Walmart that goes on the back of your chair.
Exactly.
And so it don't take up any standing room space. You don't have to look for anywhere. You just put it on the back, and it's big and round. And if I wasn't outside, I'd have it up with the.
That's good. That's good.
So that's safe, and it folds up back into the case it came in.
Right. Exactly.
So that saves space. So that's
yes,
an
it
option.
does. That's excellent. That's excellent. And also, I plan to put my green screen up with the Command Performance. Even those are the sticky things that.
Yeah.
But you put up like about 10 of them really to hold it up. Now, Kat, you have to be the last person because I need to go on with the class. I want to hear everyone so that way everyone gets a turn. Yes.
Okay, my turn, right? All right.
Yes.
You see me and you actually see my house. Normally I have a screen covering the whole house, but this is the extent. It's been that way for some time. I mean, this is going to seem very morbid, but I have a recurrence of cancer. And so I might actually, I don't want my daughter to walk in the door and to turn out and walk out. So I have a legitimate reason for cleaning up the stuff, but I'm panicked with the whole, the whole situation, the news, the implications of the news. I mean, do you really want to be told this is a recurrence too, so it's not optimistic. Anyway, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, it's just like I'm stunned. But in any case, I wanted to actually show a background. A lot of people that in the cluttering class have these backgrounds that I think, why are they in this class? Their faces look so neat and nice. And I thought, okay, mine doesn't, so feel better. Okay, I'll try to not take up any more time. Thank you.
Well, no, that's fine. Kathleen, I want to applaud you. I want to acknowledge that you were willing to show us your clutter. And that's the first step in admitting that you do have clutter and not that everything is so precious that you can't get rid of it. So I really do appreciate you doing that. And I think that was very brave of you. And we fellow clutterers understand your position. Okay, let's go on, please. So again, that bargain thing is not maybe a bargain after all, if it helps to clutter your house. So let's look. The buying in bulk clutter to make you feel safe. Buying items in triplicate or bulk because you think you may get caught short will result in large amount of products that go unused. It's called abundance clutter because having many products makes you feel secure. It also makes you feel as though you're taking good care of your family. However, think twice before stocking up on some fresh foods, pet foods, toiletry, clothing, and decor for many reasons. Items may attract rodents and insects. Ingredients can expire and spoil. Your taste and size change. I used to love tomato soup as a kid. Loved it. And I started to kind of stockpile it. And then I came to realize I really don't like tomato soup anymore. Also, you may be changing size in the terms of dieting or special regulations with your diet. So, to buy in bulk can be another clutter mechanism. Also, items go out of style. If you're stockpiling 25 pairs of Bermuda shorts because, they're comfortable, are you really going to wear 25 pairs? You can only wear one at a time. Aspiration clutter. For the future, that's a lot of us. We do these future things. We have good intentions. Aspirational clutter is the stuff you accumulate to help you change, to develop a skill, or to appear differently to others. I'm going to start to knit, and I'm going to knit everything I can. Even my lampshades I'm going to knit. So let me buy 15 balls of yarn and 45 knitting needles, all different sizes. For example, athletic gear, and as I said, the knitting thing, also a number of how-to books because I'm going to do it. So athletic gear, unread books, crafts, fancy dishes. I do like collecting certain kinds of glassware, but it becomes after a while overwhelming. If you never use this stuff, you may have fallen victim to aspirational clutter. You're aspiring to do something or to acquire something. The best way to banish this type of clutter is to have a conversation with yourself before purchasing the item. Stop, think, give yourself a few days and see if you're still feeling the same way. Do I still feel as though I should knit all my lampshades? Any comments or questions? Okay, I can't really see you, but you can see that's us. We do clutter our houses with things that we're going to do. good intentions, but we never quite get around to it. So let's just go on. Okay, here's another clutter that we have. Gift clutter. Gifts should not be a burden, and regifting or donating the gift that you receive and will not use does not lessen your appreciation for the gift or the giver. Do not stockpile gifts that you have received or gifts that you will give to others. These items can become clutter. I want to know how many people are guilty of that. Buying, gifts in advance. Mary, I see your hand. Anybody else? Where you buy all these gifts, because they're on sale. You're in Walmart or wherever and they're on sale. And then you can't find them at the time to give gifts. I'm speaking from experience. So I have to run out and buy something else. Okay, any comments about that or anything we've gone over so far before we continue?
Yeah, this is Marlene, I make most of my
Martha. Yes, yes, go ahead. Miss Walker, go ahead.
Yeah, I make most of my gifts and still I end up, and then some from the dollar store. But I still have them forgetting that I want to give somebody something and then not making something else in a hurry. So yeah, I'm kind of guilty of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what helps with that too are plastic bins. Then you can see exactly what you have. And so you won't buy something else because you already have it there in the bin, or you already have the yarn or the material that you want in that bin that you'll be using at that time. It's Valentine's Day and you have the Valentine's material. So plastic bins are a great way to store as opposed to boxes that can get wet. If you have any kind of flooding issue. Also, rodents tend to get into your boxes and bugs, regular cardboard boxes, when it's stored too long. Anyone else want to make any comments? Okay, Pat, I see your hand.
Well, I'm a crocheter.
Yeah.
So every time yarn is on sale, I
Yes.
go buy yarn. And I may not use it for about a year. And right now I have like 6 tubs of yarn.
Yeah.
And I go look through the sales circular and they have yarn on sale. I'll go and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use it later.
Yeah, I see other people. How about considering donating it? I'm not saying, just make some considerations of donating. Maybe you don't really want to do that same project. Do you know any young girls that you could teach to crochet? And then that way some of that yarn could be used in your class with them to crochet?
Well, I belong to a senior center.
Seniors, that was the next thing I was going to say.
And we had a crochet group and we were teaching there, but of course, COVID-19 came in and it shut down. So now I got all this yarn and I do crochet. I mean, I use it. It's just that every time I see a sale, I go buy yarn.
Wow.
I really don't need it.
Right. How can you stop yourself from doing that?
I don't know.
Anyone have any comments how she could stop herself from buying more yarn? Go ahead, Rita. And then Sue, I see your hand.
Don't look at the sales. Don't look at the circular.
Okay, Sue, and then Carolyn. I think you want to say something. Sue?
Okay. Well, what about expensive gifts from very old friends? I have a group of elder people. It was a wedding anniversary, actually a 50th wedding anniversary party. And I asked them not to bring gifts, but so they had a collected gift. And it's something very expensive. I know they got it on sale. It costs usually regular. It's a porcelain thing, breakable, which I try not to keep in my house. And it's rather big. And I don't want to offend them. I don't know what to do with it. It's about $1,000. I have a few things like that, and I don't know what to do. So they're still in boxes. They're crated.
Okay, a couple of things. You could either have a display case if you get those kinds of things, and if it's not going to be cluttering your house to have it, but a display case may be an answer for that. That's number one. Number two, when people give a gift, I don't know, some people may have the expectation that you have to show it or display it, and some don't. because you really don't have to display it. And since it's such an expensive item, perhaps you'd want to regift it to someone else without telling them. But if it's just in a crate, then it's really, the beauty is not being seen. It's not being used. So perhaps you want to consider regifting it to someone else. You may want to consider donating it to a certain organization that you know would appreciate those kind of things. I don't know, the Bonsai Society. I don't know. You can find out people who specialize that like whatever it is, and then consider donating it. Or again, just keeping it boxed. But if it's clutter and not being used, perhaps you'd want to consider displaying it in a china closet or display rack or something. Carolyn, I think you had a couple of.
Thank you.
And then I see Joanne's hand. And Rosalind. Yes.
What I'm running into now at 80 and so on, like, is accommodations. So that is, I'm losing my sight. So she's talking about the yarn. You don't want to give up things that you have to give up. That's my new one. The other is things like as simple as greeting cards. You know, do you have your grandson's greeting card from 30 years ago? I have a hard time with cards. Thank you.
That's, yeah. One quick thing I want to address back with Pat. You may want to consider even photographing some of your yarn. It would make really neat, if you saw, they really make neat pictures in your room, photographing them because of the bright colors are wonderful. And you may be more willing to let it go once you have it memorialized with a photograph or several, a whole collage of your knitting yarn. And then maybe you'll be freer to share it with others, particularly maybe your senior group will resurrect, or you could start to resurrect it yourself. So I did see Joanne's hand and then Rita after that. Joanne and Rosalind too. Joanne, may we hear from you, please?
Yes, please. My husband just passed by as the young lady was talking about buying yarn, and his suggestion was, don't take any money with you when you go to these places, and then you go to buy it. But I had the words of wisdom from a man. But I like the idea of the old cards. I have taken all the old cards that I have received, I have cut them up, and I have reused them and recycled them and sent them back to a lot of the people who have already sent them to me. Use them as thank you notes, cut them up and use them as gift tags. So I really use that a lot. So that's a fun thing to do.
Yeah,
but no money.
That's excellent. Tell your husband thank you. That's a good suggestion. And I think using your cards, cutting them, and then using them for gift tags and all that, that's excellent. Okay, Rosalind, you wanted to share? Person for now, and then we'll go back and we'll come back and talk some more.
Oh, yes. I was going to say about the yarn. They have organizations that have crocheting groups and knitting groups that donate stuff to the hospitals. And even the organization I belong to, Women Heart, they have a crocheting group, and they be needing that yarn to donate scarves and hats. And you could think about that. But as far as not buying it, I had to tell myself when my aunt passed, I had to clean her house. And she saved everything. I mean, everything. And she was a seamstress. I gave away bolts and bolts of material, but I sat down one day and cried because it was so much. So now every time I think about overbuying, I think about if I pass, I don't want my children to go through what I went through.
Wow, that's
with
good.
my
That's
aunt. So that stopped me from overbuying. And that's the true story. It stopped me from overbuying because I remember each time how I felt so overwhelmed when I had to do my aunt's house, you know.
Exactly. That would be overwhelming. I can process of handling my mother's things. So I do understand what you're saying. There's emotional attachment and then the need to physically clear the area. So I do understand.
So yeah, so now I'd say I don't want, especially my daughter, I don't want her to come in here and have to go through what I went through.
Exactly.
So
Okay,
think of your family too when you're shopping, what they have to go through.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go on with our class a little bit more, please. Now, one of the hardest clutter problems to deal with is sentimental clutter. And as I said, I'm going through that now with my mother's things, and I don't have brothers or sisters, so her things have fallen upon me to take care of. And it's so that's another, I guess, qualification for decluttering. The sentimental aspect, I understand it deeper because I am experiencing it even now. If you hesitate to toss your baby blanket or your mother's formal dinner set that you never use, you're holding on to items that have nostalgic meaning. Sentimental clutter is the hardest clutter to eliminate. You may look at letting go of this type of clutter as an act of betrayal towards a loved one, and I understand that. Or you may think you're turning your back on fond memory or meaningful time in your life, or a meaningful time in your life. You can healthily part with the sentimental clutter. Take the following steps. Are you willing to fix the broken parts or missing pieces? Often, like my mom had a grandfather clock that really needs to be repaired. And am I really going to take on that burden of having the grandfather clock repaired? And the gonging used to drive me nutty when I, so do I really want to bring that into my house? I don't think so. Keep a few, so in other words, think about the things. And they may have had special meaning to that person, but they may not have the same meaning to you. And someone may appreciate the clock. It's, it's vintage piece, etc. Keep a few important items as mementos, or donate or hand down the rest. Take photos of items before donating. And that way you keep a memory book of those things. And remember, no one can destroy or take away your memories. You don't necessarily need the Duncan Fife 18-piece of service to have that memory. Display of some photos or mementos, which will alleviate the guilt over tossing the rest. And tossing is a strong word, and I would like to say redonate or donating the rest, but it's a freeing kind of thing to get rid of something that has been burdening you, and that if each time you look at it, it kind of reminds you and can make you sad. Okay, here's a summary, and then we'll have a little bit of a discussion. This is a simple way to declutter your space. This is like a little starting for you. Start by removing trash. We talked about that before. Newspapers, books, whatever that you're collecting that you're not going to, 3 days old newspaper is not only good for wrapping fish. Begin by choosing one small area to organize, like a drawer, and that way you'll get success. Success builds other success. Or clean out your refrigerator. Sort items into 3 piles: keep, donate, and toss. At all times, have bins that say keep, donate, and toss. And as you're moving through your house, drop them in the appropriate bin. Find a specific home for everything you intend to keep. For example, a hook for your keys, so you're not running around looking for your keys. Group similar items together instead of storing them in multiple places, like we talked about that for your books, so you can always know where to find them. And then, here we go on 6. If you buy something new, it's to get rid of something else. Limit items in your home. If you're holding on to items to pass to the next generation, ask your heirs if they want the items. A lot of young people are not interested in the things that we were interested in. Be prepared, and don't get insulted. Be prepared for them to say no, and be gracious. That's their home. And they may not have the same sentiment that you have. And younger people they're very mobile lives nowadays, not like we did. We're pretty much stationary for most of our lives. Don't try to do everything all at once. Schedule limited amounts of time to work on decluttering and organizing on a regular basis. So we're coming to the end of our class, but I wanted to stop and ask if there are any questions or comments. We have a few minutes, and then I have a few more things to share with you. Okay, the person who asked me, did I pass the test? Before you answer, before Martha, was it okay? The one who wanted to know if I was qualified? Did you get enough information from me? Because if not, I'm willing to, so just, just put in the chat, you were satisfied or not satisfied. As a teacher, that matters to me. So you don't even have to identify, just put it in the chat to me or to like everybody, because I do want to meet your needs. Know that this is scheduled again, and I will not have all the same material. Anyone who's been in classes with me, they know that I constantly update my material, and cluttering is a big field. So we'll probably look at some ways to immediately make your house look more sensible. I don't know, next class. We'll look at the reasons for cluttering and some other things. So we'll be updating the material as needed, and I'm going to be addressing paper. What can we do with paper? Okay,
Carol,
comments?
Carol.
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Okay, my sister lives in the Detroit area-ish, and she had tried to donate stuff like to the Goodwill or whatever during this pandemic, and I guess there's so many of us trying to do it, nobody's taking stuff.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, it hurts you when it's good. You hate to, like, what am I going to do? Just throw this away? You know? You try to donate it to churches even. And, you know, my husband had 2 pairs of shoes that were almost brand new. Now, they did take the shoes, but they said, we're not really taking anything. Anybody else got any ideas of where we can take stuff?
Women's shelters.
Yeah, the shelters are a good answer.
Women's shelters, right.
Or any place that's a drop off.
And I encourage you, Mary, hold on to the stuff. Right now, we're still at the tail end of the pandemic. I mean, things are opening up. People are a little leery of taking things, but I suggest to you that in a couple months, it may look differently. But I think that's a great idea, Kathleen. The shelters for men or women's shelters, they always need emergency places. I don't know if the Red Cross, for people that have burnouts, they need clothes. Women dressed for success. That will be some of the things we'll put in the next class, you know, places that you can donate. Martha, you are so patient. Please, you have the floor.
My son has said for years, when you guys die, I'm just going to get a dumpster.
Wow.
And he means it. My daughter wants my good dishes. That's all she wants. I'm a quilter and I've got lots of fabric and lots of kits and no takers. So I'm going to have to start thinking about where to donate it.
Sure. And as I said, just give it some time.
Yeah.
And by the end of the summer, I think things will be opened and people will take in donations, etc. And keep in mind some families that you may know that could benefit from what you have. All right, I saw Pat's hand and then Carolyn Platt's hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I know in my area, Goodwill is starting to take again, but there's also, you can Google charity organizations who will come by your house and pick it up. You can leave it on the front porch. You pack it up in bags or boxes. They give you a date and they'll come by and pick it up. And you don't have to worry about taking it anywhere.
Yeah. And it's also a tax credit. Keep that too. It's a donation and tax credit. So that's an excellent suggestion. Thank you, Pat. Carolyn, may we hear from you?
Yes, I read a book on clutter, and this person's take was view everything as a container, including your house. And so when the drawer of socks is full and you buy another one, then you have to look at what you have and say, is this new one more important than any that are in the drawer? And if so, replace it. Otherwise, no more I mean, once it's full, then it's kind of like the one in, one out thing after that.
Now I'm gonna have to. I want to hear everyone's comments. I hope that you're ready for the next class and we can continue. But we're getting close to our hour, and I know that people may have other classes. And one thing I'm always mindful is the time, and of your time especially. So I have to share this. I want to thank you. I have enjoyed each of you. I've enjoyed your comments, everything. It's been a wonderful class. So I thank you for participating. Share your experience at #GetSetUp, at GetSetUp, Liz at getsetup.io. Liz is a real person, by the way. Classes that you may be interested in is navigating the transitions in life, organizing and managing your affairs. My next class, in fact, is this afternoon, is Earth's Mysterious Places. What is Juneteenth? Creative Writing and Evening Unwind. And that's a class in learning how to disconnect from your day and from stress, etc.
Thank you. I'll be back.
Class notes. You're going to get class notes. And please put the feedback if you've enjoyed this class or however I could design it. I already now know paper is one thing I need to focus on. So please put your comments in. And the very last thing I have to say, the Get Set Up community, spread the word about learning with Get Set Up. Come host an interest group.
Yes.
Just let us know. Suggest a class you would like to see on Get Set Up. We partner with assisted care, senior living, government and community organizations. Request a session recording plus ideas for new classes at Help Get Set Up. Okay, ladies, I have thoroughly enjoyed you. It's the end of our
Thank you.
And so, you know, now that I have Rita, this is for you. I have a captive audience. Make new friends, but keep the old.
One is silver and the other gold.
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. Bye-bye, ladies. You're my new friends and some of my old friends that are there. Thank you.